The White House press room has seen its share of scandals, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared Washington for what unfolded when Representative Jasmine Crockett stormed in with a single envelope clutched in her hand. Reporters leaned forward, cameras zoomed in, and the atmosphere shifted from tense silence to electric chaos in seconds. Donald Trump's face flushed red. Ivanka's carefully rehearsed smile trembled, and the internet exploded before anyone even knew what was inside that envelope. Fans online called it the moment history cracked, and for once, even Trump loyalists didn't know how to spin it. Crockett didn't come with rumors, she came with receipts. She raised her voice just enough to echo across the room, saying America deserved to know who Ivanka Trump was really married to. That one line shattered decades of carefully polished family branding and left Ivanka frozen in place. Emotions ran high, whispers turned into gasps, and by the time Crockett slammed the envelope down on the podium, the room was spiraling. Was this the end of the Trump dynasty as we know it? Or just the beginning of a firestorm that would scorch every name tied to it? One thing was certain: the bombshell had only just dropped. Let's be crystal clear from the jump. We are covering what people online are saying, reacting to, and sharing at light speed. We are not claiming any of this is proven. We're breaking down the rumor wave, the receipts people say they have, and the shock that followed. With that said, the scene that set this blaze off looked like a movie. The press room lights felt too bright. Microphones hummed. A dozen phones hovered in the air like fireflies, streaming to millions. Jasmine Crockett stepped forward, not rushing, not apologizing, just owning the moment. She placed the white envelope on the podium like it weighed 1,000 pounds. A hush folded over the room. Somewhere in the third row, a pen tapped, then stopped. And under that silence, you could hear the buzz of a live broadcast counter sprinting up. 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 viewers. No one blinking. Everyone waiting. America deserves clarity, Jasmine said, voice measured, almost calm. And clarity starts with asking who someone is really married to. We're narrating, not endorsing. But that line detonated the internet. Feeds flooded. Clips clipped. Comment sections turned into bonfires. Fans were shocked. Critics felt vindicated. And even longtime defenders were suddenly quiet, waiting for a cue that never came. Ivanka's expression told its own story, perfectly composed, then a flicker, then something brittle around the eyes. She glanced to her left, then back to the envelope, as if she could will it to disappear. A reporter cut in, voice shaky. "Representative, are you alleging a legal conflict in Mrs. Trump's marital status?" Jasmine didn't blink. "I'm presenting what's being discussed publicly," she said. "And I'm telling you what's been circulating privately for far too long." That framing, receipts in public, whispers in private, sent timelines into meltdown. People were stitching old photos, dragging up travel logs, overlaying maps, circling earlobes and jawlines like amateur detectives. Meanwhile, inside the room, the tension thickened. Donald Trump stood just off stage, visible in the reflection of a teleprompter screen, jaw tight. He muttered to someone behind him. We couldn't hear the words, but we didn't need to. The body language said everything. Jasmine opened the envelope. Not dramatically, not with a flourish, just a clean glide of the thumb and a firm pull. Paper slid free, creased, stamped, and, according to onlookers, notarized somewhere offshore. Again, we're describing what viewers saw via streams and what rumor accounts claimed. Verification is another matter entirely. But in that moment, presentation outpaced proof, and the optics alone hit like thunder. A low voice came from the front row. "Is that legitimate?" Another asked. "Do we have cross-checking?" "Everything presented today will be turned over to appropriate channels," Jasmine answered. "If there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to fear." Ivanka's smile faltered. Just the smallest tremor. A hand brushed her hair back, then dropped, fingers clasping. The room leaned in. Ivanka Trump, Jasmine said carefully, is alleged, according to documents and statements we've received, to have entered a marriage outside the United States prior to her widely known ceremony with Jared Kushner. A ripple rolled through the press corps. No screams, no chaos. Just that heavy, stunned inhale. Collective disbelief, collective curiosity, collective dread. Then the questions pounced. Are you saying the White House knew? Are we talking about a clerical error or a concealed union? Who's the other party? We're reporting the existence of records, Jasmine replied. We're reporting the questions that come with them, and we're asking why those questions were never addressed. In our world of viral drama, that's all it takes. One unanswered why, delivered on a live mic, to feed 100 storylines. Within minutes, a trending hashtag stacked up like a tower. Another followed. Commentators went live from cars, kitchens, standing under ring lights like they were anchoring cable shows. Fans were shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, at least in the narrative people were crafting second by second. Then came the first twist of the day. A woman in a navy blazer stepped forward at Jasmine's signal. Her name was stated clearly by rumor channels, her role presented as a registrar from offshore jurisdiction. We have to stress, none of this is independently verified by major outlets at the time of this recording. But as a performance beat, it was devastating. She nodded once, chin up, eyes steady. The room stilled. I was asked to remove records, she said, voice steady, accent faint and clipped. I did not. A collective gasp, quiet, quick, the sound a balloon makes when you release it just enough to squeak. Reporters darted looks at each other. Pens scratched. For a full second, Ivanka didn't move at all. From offstage, Donald stepped forward, not fully into frame but enough to project. Lies, he snapped. Slander? You're going to be sued. Jasmine didn't flinch. We invite any court, she said. Truth thrives under oath. Now remember, we're in commentary mode. These lines became captions, then crawls, then overlays on reaction videos. The particulars blurred. The discourse sharpened. A dozen explainers popped up, claiming timelines, presenting grids that stitched together travel dates with gala photos, blending known facts with speculative threads. Friends texted friends. Families argued at dinner tables. Group chats pinged in chaotic chorus. Did you see this? Is that real? Could that happen? Inside the room, the energy snapped taut as a wire. A CNN stringer, trying to stay neutral, asked the operative question, Representative, do you have corroboration beyond what you're showing here? I have enough to ask the questions out loud, Jasmine said, and enough to warrant answers. Ivanka's composure broke for a half breath, eyes down, shoulders gathering in, before she reset and looked straight ahead. For a moment, it felt less like politics and more like family weathering a seismic crack in public. That's the pull of this kind of story. It collapses the distance between power and privacy, between public narrative and private consequence. Fans who adored the curated image felt blindsided. Detractors saw confirmation of suspicions they've nursed for years. And those in the middle, millions of them, sat with open browsers and clenched jaws, waiting for something definitive that never arrived. Then a second twist landed without warning. A murmur from the back. A whispered, "They've got audio." Rumor pages blasted a waveform screenshot within minutes. Nothing authenticated, everything amplified. A voice alleged to be from inside a high-level circle, talking in the careful language of leverage and loyalty. We're not playing the clip, we're telling you what people claimed they heard. But the effect was immediate. Threads bloomed like algae after rain. People swore the cadence matched, that the pauses were the same, that the stilted phrasing could only belong to one man. Others pushed back, deepfake, stitch, spoof. In the press room, the registrar lifted a small, weathered notebook. I kept copies, she said quietly. I knew one day I might need them. Who paid you? A reporter fired back. Her answer swung the air like a door. People who wanted records to disappear. From the wings, an aide tried to usher Donald away. He resisted, then relented, then pointed sharply. Once at Jasmine, once at the papers, once at the cameras, like assigning blame to three separate villains. Ivanka took a small step backward. Her breath caught audibly on a boom mic. The image, clipped and replayed, became a totem of the day. The golden daughter, shuddering under a storm of secrets she couldn't address. What happens if this is all smoke? Someone asked, voice edged, desperate. What happens if it falls apart? Then we've risked nothing except asking for the truth, Jasmine said. But if it's not, if even a fraction holds, then we're looking at a narrative built on omissions. Outside, you could feel the city change temperature. Cars sped up. Newsrooms flared to life, assignment editors barking, "Get me jurisdictional confirmation." Call the ministry. Find the registrar's employment record. At the same time, the rumor economy sprinted miles ahead. Memes, alleged passports, cropped photos of signatures, timestamps that lined up if you squinted or if you really wanted them to. That's how the modern scandal moves. Verification trudges. Virality flies. Verification trudges. A third twist hit social in the span of 15 minutes. Claims of a second set of documents, this time birth records. Again, unverified. Again, explosive in presentation. Thumbnails screamed. Headlines hedged. Allegedly, reportedly, said to show. Every qualifier doing push-ups as the story avalanche grew. And still, back in the room, all that existed was paper and posture and a single insistence. Answer the questions. Ivanka finally found her voice. "This is a personal attack," she said. Each word measured, each syllable heavy. "I will not dignify fabricated narratives." Jasmine inclined her head. "Then show the counter receipts," she replied. "Let the public see what's real." A beat. 2. The press room was a kiln. Emotions ran high. The family story, as it was told online, looked fractured. The larger political machine hummed just out of sight, calculating fallout, drafting talking points, preparing to either deny everything or redirect everything. Allies posted bravery emojis. Critics posted scales of justice gifs. The rest posted popcorn, and then the moment that turned a press conference into an earthquake. A producer shouted that a private jet had just been spotted on a live tarmac feed, with a figure resembling Jared boarding. Was it current? Was it miscaptioned archival footage? The clip blurred through timelines before anyone could pin it down, each share stripping away a little more context and adding a little more certainty. In the room, someone asked, "Where is Jared?" And no one offered an on-the-record answer. Jasmine tapped the envelope with 2 fingers. "The questions won't stop," she said softly. "Not until the answers start." There it was, the thesis of the day, and the hook for 1,000 reaction videos. We're not here to stamp anything as true. We're here to dissect the spectacle as it unfolded, and to note that the burden of proof is heavy, unforgiving, and undefeated. If it's there, it survives. If it's not, it dissolves. Meanwhile, the audience sits with hearts and throats and fingers on share buttons, deciding what feels real long before anyone proves what is. As aides cleared the aisle and cameras pivoted for exit shots, the sound that lingered wasn't outrage or glee or triumph. It was that strange, hollow thunder that rolls in when a narrative breaks shape. Part curiosity, part dread, part thrill. In that sound, you could hear the next chapter forming. Demands for documents, demands for denials, demands for one more reveal. Because once a story like this opens its jaws, it rarely closes them right away. It snaps again and again and again until something, paper, reputation, myth, finally gives. The fallout didn't wait until the next morning. It didn't even wait until the press room emptied. By the time Jasmine Crockett stepped away from the podium, the noise outside had already reached fever pitch. Protesters gathered near the White House gates within the hour, some chanting Jasmine's name, others screaming about political witch hunts. Cable networks broke into programming. Talk radio hosts took frantic calls. Twitter spaces ballooned with tens of thousands of listeners, each demanding answers, each dissecting every blink, every gesture, every word from that 20-minute explosion. Inside the Trump circle, panic brewed. Witnesses described Donald pacing like a caged animal, snapping at aides, muttering about betrayal. "Shut it down," he barked, according to one unnamed staffer. "Cut the feeds, silence her, sue her into the ground." The words may never be verified, but online they already became gospel, stitched into memes that showed Trump slamming phones or tossing papers. Fans were shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, not just on stage, but across the digital sphere. Meanwhile, Ivanka's composure cracked further behind the curtain. Streams replayed her knees buckling, the Secret Service stepping in. Reaction videos zoomed on her trembling hands. Commenters flooded in. She knew it was coming. Others argued, she's innocent. This is political theater. And yet the image stuck. Ivanka Trump, frozen in fear, caught in a narrative she couldn't control. Jared Kushner's absence added gasoline. Where was he? Why hadn't he stepped forward? An MSNBC chyron blasted across screens. Kushner missing as Crockett drops bombshell. Minutes later, a grainy screenshot hit Twitter, allegedly showing Jared boarding a sleek jet in Dallas. Again, no confirmations, no official word, but the internet doesn't need paperwork to write a legend. In chat rooms, the verdict was instant. Jared fled. Whether true or not, perception had already solidified. Back on the podium, Jasmine's words replayed endlessly. If there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to fear. Those 10 words became the anthem of the day, chanted outside by protesters, printed on t-shirts overnight, clipped onto TikToks with ominous background music. Fans made edits overlaying her line with Ivanka's faint smile crumbling, creating a cinematic moment fit for Netflix. But what shocked viewers most wasn't the paper in the envelope. It was the witness Jasmine unveiled. Miss Lorna Simmons, the registrar with steel in her eyes. When she said, "They told me to fake deletion records, but I saved everything," the room imploded. The idea that someone, years earlier, had tucked away receipts in defiance of Trump world sent chills down spines. For Trump critics, it was vindication. For supporters, it was heresy. And for Ivanka, it was personal. "She lied," Ivanka whispered, hot mic catching the words as Secret Service helped her step aside. That whisper became headline material. Ivanka whispers, "She lied," plastered across YouTube thumbnails. Supporters clung to it as proof Jasmine was bluffing. Detractors dismissed it as desperate denial. Either way, Ivanka's voice carried farther in that one shaky whisper than in any polished speech she'd given before. Donald re-emerged, unable to contain himself. He stormed toward the stage, fury spilling, voice raw. "This is a lie. My daughter is the most honest person in this country," he shouted, pointing directly at Jasmine. "You will be sued to the moon and back." The eruption was pure reality TV energy, the kind that turns a tense moment into an unforgettable spectacle. Clips of Trump's red face, his finger jabbing like a weapon, were replayed in loops. Jasmine didn't flinch. Instead, she pulled out the transcript, a paper allegedly tying Trump and Kushner to a cover-up conversation. "The American people deserve the truth," she said calmly, "even if you don't think they can handle it." The juxtaposition, Trump raging, Jasmine steady, was the split screen of the year. One side chaos, the other control, and then the envelope's second act detonated online, the marriage certificate itself. Cayman Islands, Nove, Leonardo Paul de Grassi, a name no one recognized but everyone scrambled to Google. Within minutes, social media unearthed fragments, an old Harvard economics thesis, a blurry photo from Prague, snippets of documents buried in archives. Real or fabricated, the story spread like wildfire. Rumor pages framed Degrassi as a mysterious financier, a shadow from Ivanka's past. Others painted him as a pawn in Trump's empire. But the kicker? The certificate listed Ivanka as legally tied to him, with no sign of Jared Kushner anywhere. The internet had a field day. Hashtags trended worldwide. Were marriage bombshell, Ivanka exposed, Degrassi files. One viral TikTok stitched Ivanka's wedding day photos with the Cayman certificate, overlaid with the caption, "One of these is a fairy tale. The other is reality." Reaction videos pulled in millions of views overnight. As chaos brewed outside, inside sources whispered that Ivanka collapsed completely backstage, slipping into a stress-induced episode. Reports later claimed she was rushed to a private medical facility. Viewers clutched at that image, Ivanka, the golden daughter breaking under pressure, and spun it into endless narratives. Some sympathized, others mocked, but no one ignored. And while the Trump family scrambled, Jasmine calmly handed the mic to Miss Simmons once more. The marriage was never annulled, Simmons declared. Any public document signed using Jared Kushner's name could be considered fraudulent under international law. The room gasped. Journalists nearly tripped over each other to tweet those words. Legal analysts hit prime time within the hour, dissecting what fraudulent might mean. Lawyers on CNN panels waved their hands. Former prosecutors on MSNBC shook their heads gravely. Fans watching live were stunned. Emotions ran high. The family narrative looked fractured beyond repair. Betrayal, accusations, collapse. It was all there, playing out like a scripted drama, except the characters were the most recognizable names in America. And just when the drama seemed like it couldn't get heavier, Jasmine dropped one last bomb, the suggestion of hidden children. She didn't confirm it. She didn't need to. A cryptic tease, a whisper of twins, and the internet combusted. Threads exploded with theories. A blurry photo surfaced. A partially redacted passport screenshot leaked. Within hours, the idea of secret daughters had entered mainstream debate. Whether fact or fiction didn't matter anymore. The spectacle had already rewritten the story. And as Donald fumed, Ivanka vanished, and Jared allegedly ran, Jasmine Crockett stood at the center of it all. Calm, relentless, untouchable. Calm, relentless, untouchable. By the time midnight rolled around, America was still wide awake, doom-scrolling through the chaos Jasmine Crockett had unleashed. The bombshell wasn't just a story anymore. It was an ecosystem. Every platform pulsed with speculation. TikTok edits showed Ivanka's knees buckling in slow motion, set to ominous music. YouTube live streams replayed Trump's meltdown on loop. Twitter threads mapped alleged offshore accounts like detective boards pinned with red string. Fans were shocked. Emotions ran high. And the family? At least in the public's eyes, they were splintering apart in real time. Inside Trump Tower, reports claimed the mood was darker than ever. Donald's voice echoed through the marble lobby, berating aides, threatening lawsuits. "They think they can embarrass us?" "No, not my daughter!" he shouted, fists pounding against polished wood. But behind closed doors, whispers suggested something else. Donald wasn't just angry, he was terrified. What if the paper trail really existed? What if Jasmine had more? And what if the so-called twins weren't just internet fantasy, but flesh and blood? Meanwhile, Jared Kushner's absence turned from curiosity to scandal. Screenshots of him allegedly boarding a jet in Dallas became the internet's new Rosetta Stone. Grainy zooms, flight tracker maps, theories about where he was going. "Switzerland," one thread claimed. "Dubai," another screamed. No one could confirm, but the perception hardened. Jared was running. Overnight, hashtags like "saw where is Jared" and "Kushner escape" climbed to the top of trending charts. For Ivanka, the optics were brutal, her husband vanishing just as her marriage was being questioned. For Jasmine, it was proof her timing had been perfect. And then came the voice note. Shortly after 1 a.m., a Telegram channel posted an audio clip that ripped through social media like lightning. A woman's voice, low, trembling, whispered, "I just want to meet my real family. My mom says he's the most powerful man in America, but he never even looked at us." Was it genuine? Was it AI? Nobody could tell. But within minutes, the clip racked up millions of plays, translated into memes, TikTok lip syncs, and reaction videos of influencers sobbing on camera. Commentators declared it the most haunting piece of the saga yet. Journalists scrambled to verify. Lawyers warned against believing anonymous leaks. But for the audience glued to screens, verification no longer mattered. The narrative had already crystallized. The twins were real, hidden, and finally finding their voices. Melania's alleged involvement pushed the story into overdrive. A leaked WhatsApp voice note, supposedly her own, landed like a thunderclap. "She was forced to marry Jared," the hushed voice said. It was Donald's idea. The real husband, he wasn't rich enough, but she loved him. And the children? They were never supposed to be known. Whether authentic or fabricated, the effect was nuclear. Talk shows debated the courage of Melania. Meme creators mocked the First Lady of Secrets. For Trump loyalists, it was betrayal. For critics, it was confirmation. For Ivanka, it was devastation. By dawn, foreign governments were dragged into the storm. Belize's Ministry of Internal Affairs issued a brief statement confirming cooperation with international inquiries regarding dual citizen applications, linked to minors of high-profile individuals. The phrasing was vague, but that didn't matter. The internet filled in the blanks. The twins were real, and Belize had proof. Cable news ran the headline, "International documents confirm investigation." That was all people needed to believe the worst. And as if the flames weren't already uncontrollable, Josh Kushner, Jared's younger brother, poured gasoline. During a live MSNBC panel, he took a deep breath, stared straight into the camera, and said, "My brother's been hiding a lot." He didn't just go along with the marriage. He covered up Ivanka's other life. I begged him to stop. But he told me, if the world finds out about Leo and the twins, the Trump brand dies overnight. I guess that day just came. Boom. The sound of silence afterward said it all. A Kushner turning against his own blood wasn't just family drama. It was a Shakespearean betrayal. Social media crowned Josh the accidental whistleblower. His words looped into songs, remixed into TikToks, and quoted across late-night shows. Jasmine didn't even need to speak. Her opponents were unraveling for her. Back at the White House, aides scrambled to draft responses. An emergency memo leaked with phrases like unsubstantiated claims and personal family matters irrelevant to current policy. But instead of calming the storm, the memo fed it. The public saw it as proof of guilt. If there's nothing to hide, why dodge the questions? One viral tweet asked, racking up 500,000 likes. And through it all, Jasmine stayed silent. She didn't need to speak. Her last words at the podium were enough. The questions won't stop until the answers start. That single sentence echoed like a prophecy. One truth was clear. This wasn't just a political scandal anymore. It was a cultural earthquake, blending family secrets, power struggles, and international intrigue into one unstoppable spectacle. And while the Trumps tried to cling to their empire, Jasmine Crockett stood center stage, calm, unshaken, and ready to unleash the next twist.